All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Good morning, everybody. My name is Scott Bieber, Chief Strategy Officer here at Cook Solutions Group. I've got Levi Daly, our Chief Technology Officer, here on the line with us. We're excited to have you all here with us today. We have a lot to go over in the next 59 minutes, and we promise this is going to be very good content and a lot to go through. So please take notes. There's a lot that we'll be going through in a very fast fashion. However, for those that are on or maybe didn't get a chance to come to our live in-person tech summit, we wanted to kind of show you what that was like. So we prepared a quick little video to kind of show the vibe of our technology summit. So our hope is, if you didn't come this year, that you can maybe make it to us next year, the next time we do our tech summit. But from a content perspective, the bulk of the conference we're going to go over today in a rapid fire session. So I'm going to go ahead and get to this next slide here and play this video, just kind of give you a little bit of an idea while I wait for a few more people to join.
Super happy with CSG. They make things happen.
Anything that they can help us out with, they've done it, and I've really enjoyed our partnership with CSG.
You know, one of the things I really like about coming to these Cook Summits is the relaxed atmosphere. I think they do an incredible job of just being real people talking about options and solutions for us, rather than, you know, that stuffy sales environment that you might get elsewhere.
Great job.
I have my eye on a couple of things that I learned about today that I think will be really cool solutions. So I do my job very well because of my partnership with Cook. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Highly responsive, they're professional, and they just make things happen.
I had to add that last little bit of flair there just because that's awesome. So obviously the one big piece that's missing from today's webinar is all the collaboration, the networking, the camaraderie, and the talking with a lot of our vendor partners that were there with us as well. So again, we're going to try to do our best to replicate today, at least what you missed if you didn't make it. But obviously being there in person is the best way to get the most out of these events. And again, welcome and looking forward to doing that again with everybody. So again, we're just kind of highlight on the agenda. I'm going to go ahead and kick things off for us today. I'm going to talk through really who is CSG, why do we do what we do, to kind of give you an idea of why we're going down the path of what Levi is going to talk about later with the CSG solutions that we are releasing. We're going to be unveiling a number of new pieces of technology today and some changes to our company, and trying to talk through our roadmap as well. Our hope is, though, that this can be obviously very interactive, and we'll have some Q&A at the very end. And so in order to keep you all kind of focused and on point, we have a lot of swag we want to give away today as well. So we might throw some little Easter eggs throughout the presentation. So take notes. We might do a little trivia at the end and get some people walking away with something that they can remember CSG by, I guess. So high level, if you kind of want, we're trying to simplify, because CSG for the longest time has been a company that does a lot for our customers, right? So when we met as an executive team, about probably Levi 2 years ago, maybe, we came up with this statement to really try to simplify what it is that CSG does and why do we do it. And we came up with being an industry disruptor through or by solving complex problems and delivering simple solutions. However, the bottom piece is the most important, with a CSG twist. You might see this twisty logo throughout our presentation today. That will help you identify what are CSG solutions that we have added onto, either on top of other partner solutions that we resell or solutions that we have developed and have continued to enhance with that twist. Again, the idea of making it unique to you, our customer. And again, we're pretty dang excited about that because we do feel like that's what sets us apart, and why a lot of you are doing business with us today. And so again, as we go through this, you'll see several examples of that. Today's meeting is jam-packed with those examples. But really at the core of what we do and why we are here and what CSG has been doing for the last 22 years is kind of simplified in these bullet points here. We are all about our customers. Our 30-day out, no penalty clause in all of our contracts, I think, shows and puts that to the test. We want to and need to earn your business each and every month. And so your experience, your feedback, your interaction is key to everything that we do. In fact, you'll see a lot of the technology that we've unveiled over the years and that we're going to be unveiling today is typically from a direct result of you, our customers, giving us that feedback. So it's great. A lot of that comes with this idea of being secure, simple, and open. Some people say that you can't have all three. We challenge that thought process every single time. You absolutely can have security top of mind. Being a security company from our very beginning, that's always top of mind for us. That's why we have a SOC 2 Type 2 done on an annual basis. That's why we do a lot of things that we do the way we do them. But that does not mean that we have to make things overly complex and that they have to be closed and proprietary and not willing to play with other technologies that's out there. We feel like there's value in that. We feel like there is a lot of benefit to our end users and to CSG at the end of the day as well, and keeping that and maintaining that philosophy. And so again, as you kind of see what Levi is going to be talking about today, you will see a lot of that come to life of how we're maintaining those three pieces by delivering a good experience to you, our end customer, and really, solving some of those complex problems that you're seeing through simple solutions. A little bit down memory lane, for those that maybe are new to CSG or aren't doing business with us today, that are online today with us, or maybe some of you have been with us from the very beginning. Sometimes this is interesting to kind of look back at and say, wow, where has this company gone since it was founded back in 2002? And you may notice the name changed, right? We started out as Cook Security Group, a company that Brian Cook founded based on security and really based off of service and making things happen for our customers and just being there, being honest and transparent. That is still at our core today, even though the name has changed to Cook Solutions Group, because we do more than just security now. The philosophy and the foundational principles of this company have not changed since day one. Because of that, because we make it happen, because we listen to our customers, we started doing more than security in 2006 when we started working with NCR and getting into the ATM space, which has been a big game changer for us as a company over the years. In 2009, in order to enhance that service, we developed Remote View as a way to remotely manage and maintain endpoints, right? Not just even specifically ATMs, but really anything that can be run in that direction, which then led to us opening up our command center and developing a web portal that is a really transparent view into the operation for you, our customer, right? So you could see what your equipment looks like, what you're doing through CSG, how the Remote View team is working with you, and our managed services crew. One of our very first tech summits in 2019, we unveiled two critical pieces of our future, which was Piko and Conveyance. Piko, at the time, being a video surveillance platform only. And today, we've got a lot to talk about that, how it is no longer just that, which is going to be exciting, as well as our Conveyance check imaging platform. Again, answers to critical problems that our customers were having where there wasn't a viable, simple solution out in the market. We decided to make our own and move forward. Fast forward to the pre-pandemic, right on the cusp of that, we decided to make the name change of Cook Security Group to Cook Solutions Group. And from there, you'll see that CSG twist has been an awesome ride since 2020 to 2024 today. And again, we're over the moon and excited to talk about what we have planned for you throughout the next little bit here today. So with that said, I'm going to turn the time over to Levi. Please put into the chat the Q&A. We'll be monitoring that throughout the presentation. We would love to hear your feedback. We'd love to hear questions, concerns, thoughts, excitement, you name it, as we go through each of these next few slides, and again, kind of see where we can take things. So many of you have probably seen our infographic. This has been something that we came up with, probably 3-4 years ago. However, to tease a little bit more, there's obviously some new grayed out pieces here. We're going to unveil those as we get going here today. So with that said, Levi, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can take it away.
Yeah, this actually, this slide is good because we have, like you said, a couple of blurred out things that we're going to talk through more. But If you're a financial institution or if you have a commercial or retail building, a lot of these things, these services and products, tie together. One of the services that we provide is our managed services. And that's really one of the most important things about the most important thing about our company is our people. And our network operations center that we have today, or our managed services, that's where we're powering what we say fintech and security. We're in the fintech world, or in that fintech space, very heavy with some of those niche kind of products like ATMs and all of those different pieces for the fintech side. But as even with the security and with Piko, our managed services powers all of that. So actually, Scott, let's throw a giveaway out there. Whoever, you want to? Anybody in the chat? First person to comment in the chat what's different about CSG with this slide, or what's
different about our knock?
Okay, Lindsay.
Lindsay Beatty, 24/7. That was quick. That was like 15 seconds or less. So Lindsay, we're going to be sending you a swag bag from CSG. Not sure exactly what's going to be in that, but we'll keep you on your heels when it shows up. Probably a backpack, a water bottle, some pens, maybe some barbecue sauce, you name it. But congratulations, quick on the finger there. Sorry, Angie, you were so close, but not quite fast enough. But maybe we'll get you again here in a little bit later.
Yep, that was great. Okay, so first release of our tech summit, where, like Scott said, we're taking everything from an all-day event down to 1 hour. So we're trying to be quick and go through this and show you guys some of the key points from our tech summit. But we are releasing our managed services to be 24/7. That means our team is working 24/7. It's a big move for us. It's not just hiring one body. You have to hire multiple people. You have to have multiple shifts throughout the night and throughout the week, because it's 7 days. It's not 5 days, right? So we have those bodies hired, staffed up, and we're starting our 24/7 June 1. And there's more to come on that 24/7 piece. SLAs will still continue to stay the same. After hours, there's a lot of cleanup, there's a lot of patching and maintenance. But the beauty is, if you're in the fintech space, ATMs, ITMs, if you have security, solutions with us, Piko, our managed services, our team will be servicing and supporting all of that, all equipment 24/7. And then, like I said, more to come, which is awesome.
To make that hit home even quicker, June 1st is only 2 weeks away, people. It's not far. So it's right around the corner. We're excited to have that start happening.
Yeah, and one of the other pieces I was going to mention with our knock, over the years, our knock, I would say, we started remote view in, what was that slide, Scott? I don't remember anymore. 2009. When we started remote view, and we had a single person working, and the key to remote view was, fixing and rebooting a machine. But now our knock is a 5-tiered team, from, the first line of service that answers the phone or answers that ticket. They work on whatever ticket for a certain amount of time, and then it starts to get escalated up. And our tier 5 engineers, if you know Casey, and some of our team in the knock, they are so advanced and so good. So this knock is a very, very powerful team. It's not just to be looked at like a dispatch.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk through some of our technology platforms. Our knock is there as well, even though it's not a technology, it's a people, it's a service that we provide. But these are our technology platforms, and we'll spend a little bit of time on this stack and going through remote view, Piko, conveyance, a little bit on command center as well. And I think the key to this is the key to CSG, like what you had mentioned, our twist is this is where we do things different. If we're going to release something, if we're going to release a managed services, a video surveillance platform, a check imaging platform, a managed services platform for your fintech, the command center, we want to tie those things together. Like Scott had mentioned, the secure, simple, and open philosophy is there. But we tie these together to create unique solutions in the industry, things that nobody else is doing. And a lot of that is, especially in the banking side, is when we have, we're servicing the fintech, like we mentioned, we service all of those ATMs and ITMs. So we're able to provide certain analytics and certain things because we tie that together with the security. We're definitely a different business in the industry where we're not just focused on security. We're not just focused on fintech, but all of those services that we provide, we merge and blend them together into these unique solutions.
Again, provided by your feedback, right? So the more feedback you give, and I think we'll talk through this a little bit later, we can now receive that feedback through our command center. So that's live now. You can be able to submit ideas at the bottom left corner of the command center when you log in. Please send those those ideas, and we'll provide the feedback and start adding it to our roadmap if we feel like that's something that the collective group is needing.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because we can't really take credit. It's not like a lot of these are our ideas that we're coming up with. We have stories and stories and stories. And I remember, we talked about this at our tech summit when a customer was there, they were actually there in the crowd that talked about transactions and receiving transactions from the ATM. This was when we started Remote View. And so we had this funky way of zipping EJs or electronic journals from an ATM and sending them to an FTP site for a customer to review. And that's what birthed the command center. Was let's show the status of all of our ATMs inside the command center. And then now let's show all of the transactions. And then as we release Piko, let's tie those video to those transactions all together in one place with the command center. And so we need your ideas. We love those ideas and we take them very serious. And like Scott mentioned, we have our roadmaps available in the command center and you can log in, create ideas, comment on that, and other people can actually upvote ideas, and that's what helps drive our development.
Buckle up, we're just getting started.
Okay, so let's touch through Remote View. So we talked about Remote View and the release of Remote View. We are saying that Remote View is a fintech and security management, and we're calling it a managed software as a service because it's software, but it's also people that power that so well and power our Remote View software. Remote View, we're going through this year, we're going through just a slight name change, just a single kind of word names on each one of these modules. On the left-hand side, you'll see diagnostics, patching, and security. The change that we've made is that we're requiring those all. If you have Remote View, you have to have those three. And the reason is because we take security so high. It's such a critical piece. You have to patch these machines with Windows patching, and we have to provide security on these machines. We just do not want the risk of anything happening with those machines. So we've bundled those together. And then we have on the right-hand side our product suite of transactions, marketing screens, encryption, and then hard drive backup as well. We're happy to answer more questions on that. Feel free to comment in the chat as we go through that. So let's look at Remote View and look at our CSG's technology philosophy. So not only the secure, simple, and open piece, but another framework that we really follow with all of our services or all of our products that we release is what we call a collect, connect, and resolve platform. And so you look at Remote View and the modules that we just talked about. Those modules are collecting data. We're connecting that data to Command Center. And then from Command Center, we've actually built, because of the openness, that the foundation that we're built off is being open and integrating with other platforms. We've even integrated with ServiceNow and Corrigo, two powerful facility, Corrigo more on the facilities management. ServiceNow is a ticketing system. A lot of our customers are using ServiceNow. They're moving it from IT into ATM and into facilities for a ticketing system. So we've built integrations with those platforms into the Command Center. So if you have that, we're happy to have those conversations, show our APIs and how we can build, how that integration can be built and connected together. So again, we've collected the data, we're connecting the data, and then when we're resolving that data, that's either our NOCs or our technicians that we're resolving that incident or that event that's happened. And again, that's our philosophy. We'll touch on that, as we go through Piko and our other platforms as well. Okay, so next we're jumping into Conveyance. Conveyance, like Scott mentioned, we released Conveyance in 2019 as an on-premise check imaging platform. We since moved that to native cloud, so no servers are required. Remote view is what powers it. So if you have conveyance on your ATMs and your ITMs, remote view is actually what takes that data, the checks and the check images, and it sends it directly to cloud. So it's seamless, and it's very simple for our check imaging platform. In fact, there's not much upfront work because we don't have to deploy servers and handle all of that. If you have a remote view, we can essentially turn conveyance on for you. With conveyance, sorry about that. With conveyance, we released some updates. We released our rules engine and item alerts and an X9 viewer, all directly in the cloud, which is very powerful. And I would say the reason that we're able to start moving quick with conveyance is because we've built conveyance into the cloud and we've built that foundation out. So our ideas, go ahead, Scott.
I would say that this is the epitome of why we talk about secure, simple, open, right? I think when you think about check imaging across the industry, it's overly complex just to send a file, right? But then beyond that, the complexity that goes on the back end for you and your staff of review and repair and the rules and everything that goes around just getting a simple check image to the Fed and done. So that rules engine that we're unveiling right now, our hope is that that's going to create a lot of automation because it's cloud native, to just take some of that guesswork off of the shoulders of your employees, but then just kind of open up an entire world for you to kind of, again, simplify what should be simple to begin with, but has become anything but it since check imaging had became a thing back in 2001.
Right. Okay. Command center. We touched on this, as we showed all of our technology stack or technology platform. Command center, I'll never forget when we created Command Center, like we mentioned, customers asking, hey, I need to see the status of my ATM. That's really how it started. We actually called it the remote view dashboard. And we wrote it and drew it out on a napkin and took it to developers. And now where we're at is we really say that it's one portal with endless possibilities. And so if you do $1 of work with CSG, you have access to the command center. It's not something that you have to pay for. This is where you can create service tickets. You do not have to even have our technology like remote view Piko conveyance. This is where you can manage service projects, preventative maintenance, view your preventative maintenance forms, view all of your equipment in real time. And Scott mentioned a word earlier when he was going through the timeline, and one of the biggest keys is the transparency. And you'll see a lot of that transparency with CSG. We're always open, and we will tell you how it is or tell you the truth here. And Command Center was one of the big ones. Is when we released it and integrated it directly with our ticketing system and directly with our ERP. You get the update. You get the notes. You get the raw notes that our technicians are typing in. You get exactly the real time. In fact, when you create a ticket, that's when the SLA starts versus calling in and having somebody type in an SLA. It starts when you submit a ticket. And so it's real time. And so we want that transparency with our customers. And again, we could spend an hour just on Command Center and going through all of the different features of it, but it is a very powerful portal, and we will continue to push and integrate all of our technologies into the Command Center. Thanks for some feedback in the chat. I love the Command Center. Thank you. Okay.
We do too.
Okay, let's jump into Piko. Piko is one of the fastest growing product lines that we've had. We released Piko, like Scott said, in 2019 as what we called a VMS platform. VMS means Video Management System. So if we take a step back, since 2002, since we were Cook Security Group, and Brian started the company selling cameras, electronic and physical security, but cameras, access control, alarms was all there. Specifically cameras and DVRs. And we sold from our inception, we've sold third-party systems. And we've tried to get them to open up and to get them to allow us to integrate. But we felt like it's behind. And so this is what forced us to release Piko, our own video surveillance platform. And you'll see that's exactly why we've released Remote View and Conveyance. And so with Piko, when we released it in 2019, like we said, very fast growing product. We moved from single branch businesses and banks and credit unions all the way to Major League Soccer stadiums that has Piko. We've built complete integrations with Piko for access control and alarm. But as a core piece, it's a VMS platform. VMS is a tough word though, and it's a word that we know, but maybe our customers don't know. And so we're changing Piko VMS to what we call Piko Video. That's the core enterprise video management platform. And many of you on this call today probably have and are using Piko. We believe Piko is secure, simple, and open, and will show some of the openness and some of the things that we've done. But we look at Piko now as a platform, and Piko Video being one of those products in that platform, or that unified security platform. So Piko, today we have over 30,000 cameras on Piko. And so it's awesome. It's awesome to see, our growth and our adoption with our customers. And that's because of the openness and the unique solutions that we're able to connect to it. Okay. So one of the other powerful pieces with Piko Analytics, with Piko Video and Piko, is Piko Analytics. We have actually partnered with an AI company. It's a third-party AI company that is one of the best in the industry for developing artificial analytics for your video surveillance system. So as we've integrated this into Piko, our confidence rate is so high. We've updated Piko Analytics. We continue to update Piko Analytics. And it's based off of, for the most part, it's based off of object detection. What that means is people and vehicle. So we know in real time, as this plugin runs, Piko Analytic runs, we know people and we know vehicles, and we can detect people and vehicles. The newest update we've released to Piko Analytics actually knows the clothing color, top and bottom, of what they're wearing, the color of the vehicle. And so there's things like line crossing that we're able to do. So if an object, a vehicle, or a person crosses a line, not motion, not the sun coming up and it changes and the line gets crossed. If there's actually an object that you want to know crosses a line in a directional area, we can get notified. We can provide heat mapping of those objects. Where are they going? Where's a person going inside of a branch or inside of a business? Where's a car going because of the heat mapping? We can know that it's a vehicle and get the license plate. There's license plate detection, and then there's license plate recognition. There's also additional AI health monitoring that we've released within Piko. And then one of the powerful one is gun detection. This is a newer thing where we're actually, the analytics engines are trained to see a gun and to see a gun when it's pulled out of a holster. So there's things that you can do within Piko to immediately respond if these things are detected, no matter what, if it's a person, a vehicle, a gun, a license plate. In fact, in Portland, at our headquarters, we have our gate with access control attached to the gate. But if one of our employees enters, outside of our normal operating hours, we have a camera that detects the vehicle, it detects the license plate, and we're immediately opening the gate. That's all powered by our analytics. Detecting the vehicle, looking at the plate's approved, and then we trigger our access control to open up the gate. So there's a lot of power within our analytics, but also in this unified platform of how we integrate things together.
And automation, right? I think that's the other piece behind this. I think historically, a VMS is going to be completely reactionary, right? You're going to have recorded video in the event of an incident. Can I pull it up and view it? Now this is going to give you some options to either address issues as they're happening real time and have some automation tied in to where you could potentially stop any losses from occurring, protect your employees, protect your property, things like that. So do we feel like the analytics above all of this is probably the biggest game changer, where this truly is going to re-envision why a unified security platform is different than a simple VMS that's just recording video from a camera?
Right. Okay, so Scott, you mentioned something in the chat, which is powerful, I think, that we're starting advisory groups for all of our products and services. So for our products like conveyance, for remote view and for Piko. And we did day 2 of our technology summit where we talked about, and we really got into the weeds, but we want to hear from our customers, and kind of like you had mentioned, Scott, we want that feedback. And I felt like day 2 was very, very powerful to hear from our customers. One of the things that we talked about, which is an interesting one, and we love feedback, and if you want to set up a one-on-one with us, we're here. We would love to have that conversation. Is if you look at the bottom of our screen, we say third-party plugins. So there's hundreds of third-party plugins as well that can integrate with Piko, that we have integrated with Piko, that are very powerful or unique. One of those is facial recognition. We had a very big discussion around ATM fraud and around noticing criminals and detecting people using facial recognition at the ATM or the ITM. We talked about a central database. We actually... Security on the ATM is key. ATM fraud seems to be at an all-time high right now, all different types of fraud. And so we're working with a customer and using facial recognition. This customer has been hit pretty hard with some ATM fraud. We had Homeland Security reached out to us and said, hey, has this person been to this customer? And we uploaded that person's face that they sent us, and we know 3 different times that person has been at this customer's ATM. The power of that is anytime we are able to call police, so say a person is at an ATM and they have a skimming device and they get caught, they're just caught with possession of a skimmer. But if you can actually capture them doing more, then that can be hit with bank fraud, where they can really lock that person up and it's not a kind of a catch and then release them the next day. And so facial recognition, we'll have more on our advisory groups. That's a big conversation. We want to hear from you and continue that conversation going. But again, very, very powerful piece around Piko Analytics. Okay, so on the ATM fraud piece, we are releasing a new product called Piko Terminal. What Piko Terminal is if I take a step back for a second, we've had our suspicious activity notification around for years. And like I just talked about, it's been very powerful and very successful as one of the only products or the only product to really help stop and catch criminals at an ATM or an ITM if they're performing a transaction, right? Or if they're performing or some type of criminal activity, trying to install a skimming device. It's a cat and mouse game is what we say, because it used to be skimming devices on the outside and then deep insert skimmers on the inside. And there's so many types of fraud these people are doing and performing. We have a video that we'll show as well of a recent video of a person attempting to install a wireless man in the middle, kind of attack on an ATM. And so as there's new products and services released to help catch that, our suspicious activity notification using Piko video and analytics and tied into the EJs, we're able to see if a person is at a machine and not performing a transaction, and we can review that. One of the blind spots we have, though, is on the ATM itself. What are they doing on that machine? What buttons are they pressing? Have they installed something? Like, being able to actually watch the ATM. And so Piko Terminal is software that's installed on your ATM or your ITM, or even a point of sale system, right? Software installed, and it turns your screens into a camera, and it records that to Piko video just like any other camera. So you're able to watch Piko video and see all of your cameras around your ATM and also the ATM screens and the buttons that they're pressing. So here's a video of that. This is Piko. And this is a customer. This is our ATM in the dev lab, a customer performing a transaction. We're watching this in Piko, right? A recorded video from Piko where the person is performing the transaction. So you can see what buttons they're pressing. We're recording this to Piko, so we're storing it for 90 days. You can also see the supervisor panel or the maintenance panel on the ATMs as well.
That was one of the curious pieces that we had, like in the event of a skimming device being installed or whatever, the cameras can only show you so much. Now that you can actually see the camera view plus what's actually being pressed on the screen, this is going to be a game changer for disputes, even, helping us investigate true actions that are happening. You name it. I think just getting, again, more visibility, more lens into what's going on, and having it all in one spot is really the vision behind Piko Terminal.
Yeah. So, on that note, what was funny is we released this in our mindset of, okay, this is great. Now, when we open Piko, we can see the screens, we can see the cameras, the cash dispensing camera, the facial camera, the top view camera, all of that thing. And we can really help make a decision on what's happening at your terminal. And then we hear from our customers, well, this would be great for our marketing team. Just give them access to Piko, our video surveillance platform. We don't charge for users in Piko. And you can say they have access to just these cameras and it's all the screens, and they can watch in real time and see all the marketing screens on an ATM or an ITM. Give it to your ATM operations team to have all of their screens open so that they can monitor their ATMs and see what's going on all of their screens, when there's changes, when there's downtime, whatever the case may be. Of course, we're still here to help support, maintain, keep that up and running. But this is just an additional set of eyes on all of those machines. Again, all integrated with Piko Video. A couple questions I'm seeing is around the pin. So if you watched, so this is just the screen recording. The pin pad on any machine is encrypted and the pin numbers are communicated and sent directly to the host. All we're seeing is what's on the screen, and it does not show the pin number being entered. If I could fast forward, right here, it just shows, you will not see numbers. You will just see these little dots for the pin being pressed. So there's no risk there of seeing or capturing the pin. The pin does not even go through the ATM. It's the pin pad is encrypted and communicates directly to the host. Hopefully that answers those two questions on the pin, so that the pin is not compromised. There's no way to see that.
Yep. Great questions.
Okay.
We're running low on time. We've got about 12 more minutes.
Oh, okay. I'm going to move. This is the fun piece. So let's talk about cameras. I'm going to speed it up a minute, Scott. We're going to talk about cameras and kind of where the industry's gone. And so giving the analogy of the television set, and this screen does not do it justice, but at a high level, if you think of where TVs have came, it's kind of the same with cameras, right? The TVs, before our time used to be, I think they started black and white, and then they were big TVs, and then I remember the big screen TVs when a big screen TV came out, and very expensive and heavy and clunky. And then we got flat screen TVs, and then we got 4K TVs. And now most of any TV that we have today are high definition and probably 4K. And then the next evolution of televisions is smart televisions, right? You just mount a TV on your wall. You don't need to plug in a DVD player or anything. It's just smart. It has Netflix, it has YouTube, it has all of the apps that you need directly on your television. That's kind of the analogy of where cameras have gone, right? There were film-based cameras for surveillance back in the day, and then we had analog and black and white cameras, and then we moved to IP cameras, and we moved to high-definition cameras. Most cameras today at least are running 1080p. That's considered HD, and now they're 4K for the most part. But now the new thing with cameras is the same thing, smart cameras. So we've got a really exciting video that we want to share around what we're doing with the cameras, and I'll play that next.
Introducing the PikoEdge camera. Engineered not just to observe, but to intelligently process and secure every frame. With its onboard storage, PikoEdge acts as its own NVR, streamlining your security setup. Experience the synergy of high-definition surveillance and advanced data management, all in one elegant solution. PikoEdge, the future of integrated security, simplified.
Oh, okay. So we have releasing our own camera lines. And this is exactly what we talked about in that last slide, smart cameras. And so we are releasing PikoEdge cameras. We have 3 cameras today, a 4K dome camera that's indoor, outdoor, and 12 megapixel 360 fisheye camera, and then a 5 megapixel ATM camera. So the first 2, that's 4K. The 360 is technically 6K. Very, very high quality. And then the ATM camera is the highest quality ATM camera that's on the market today. The previous manufacturers that we've always sold and serviced those cameras are 2 megapixel ATM cameras. So it is very high quality. It gives you a very good picture on the ATM. Now, the beauty behind all of these is that they're smart. Just like those smart TVs that run apps standalone, these cameras can now run Piko video standalone on each camera. And we have 1 terabyte of storage on each camera, which can definitely get you 90 days of video. What does that mean? It means you do not need to have these cameras plugged into a DVR. They record to themselves, communicate to Piko Cloud, and distribute to you through your Piko interface without the need for an NVR or a DVR. A few things on this: they're not proprietary. So they still could work with any DVR if you wanted them to. If you wanted to plug them in and stream them to another DVR, so you're not buying a camera from CSG that has to have CSG behind it or Piko behind it. Technically, they're open. They provide a unified access. So if you have some locations that only need a few cameras, put some PikoEdge cameras there, no DVRs. If you have large locations with, many cameras and you still have a DVR or NVR running Piko, that's okay. It's all one unified access. Piko doesn't care. It's running, and we distribute all of those streams to you through your client like normal. So it's technically Piko video is running on each one of those cameras. So there's a lot of benefits to this. This is kind of where the industry is going. It's a secure, simple approach. We're very excited. We've seen a lot of excitement in the market from our customers around these cameras.
And a need for it, right? I mean, it's the traditional approach has not always been scalable or fit in current deployments, especially for offsite ATMs, offsite locations, like you mentioned. There's a number of different ways to do this. But again, even traditional branches, this could make sense and potentially even be a little cheaper than a traditional deployment that you would have looked at.
Yep, exactly. Okay. So any more questions on the PikoEdge camera, or any comments, please feel free to jump in the chat and ask them questions. So in the event of internet failure, great question. And I'll be clear on this. So the cameras record to themselves. So the camera is the NVR. If the internet goes down, the camera still keeps going and recording to its own drive. So it's each camera has their own storage. So if the internet dies, you might not be able to see access, but it's still recording directly on each camera. When the internet comes back up, you can look at all of your history. Thanks for that question. Okay, I'll go through a little quickly because we want to get to one other thing. Piko Connect is formerly Soteria, an enterprise access control platform. We're naming it Piko Connect instead of Soteria. It is an application that we have developed that integrates third-party alarm, access control, video, case management, all of these things together. So if you want a notification, if there's a door forced open or an alarm entry on a certain zone for your alarm system, that integrates directly into Piko, creates a case for case management, gives police a live link to view that video. It's really a middleware platform that ties all of the security within your location together. And then, really like touching on the philosophy of Piko Connect, where we're collecting, connecting, and resolving that data together. So we're using video, our Piko Video Analytics, Edge. We're using Terminal, those cameras, to connect everything together. We're integrating with third-party like Linnell and DMP Access Control, and still providing the managed services behind it by our NOC, where we're monitoring and maintaining the health of all of your systems. I'm going to stop for 1 second. What models are the ATM cameras compatible with? We'll get you a list, Kelsey. We have built the lenses technically looks the same as all of the current ATM cameras that we've sold today. So it will be the same with all of our, any NCR or Dia the ATM that we've sold or serviced, we can install these cameras. We've actually made and 3D printed our own mounts for these cameras inside of the ATMs. So fully supported. And if you have more questions, you can reach out to your account manager and we can go through your ATM hardware and make sure it's compatible, but it's a high chance that it will be. Okay, so as I'm just trying to be quick, the fisheye camera is IP66 rated, so it's fully supported outside, indoor. In fact, our 4K dome and our 360, that's why we don't have indoor cameras or outdoor cameras. They're indoor, outdoor, fully supported. It's really simple for us. Now we have one product SKU, so you can put that camera inside and outside, and it's fully supported and warranted against the weather. Yep. Okay, Piko Verify, brand new product service that we are releasing, and we're very excited about Piko Verify. Piko, this is why we moved our knock to 24/7. We see in a world where security matters most, we've released Piko Verify to be a 24/7 video verification service. So we're powering it by AI, but behind the scenes, fully powered by people. So it's around the clock support where we now can receive the calls from the alarm center. So we get the notification if your alarm goes off, trips. The central station communicates directly to CSG 24 hours a day. We get the phone call. We launch Piko. We verify that there is an actual incident or it's a false alarm at your location. And then we will work with central station to dispatch police, completely taking it off of your plate. What we hear from our customers is at 5 o'clock, I want to go home. I don't want to get calls for my branches in the middle of the night that there's an alarm incident, because a lot of the times our phones are on do not disturb. We're not getting it anyways. We're missing it. And then we're getting charged a false or a dispatch fee for police or a false alarm fee. There's also a lot of cities that will not dispatch police these days unless you've verified through video that somebody is there. So sometimes if there's not a person to say, yes, I'm actually watching an incident happen, somebody's in my building, in my branch, at my location, the police will not go as well. So Piko Verify is our 24/7 video verification team here to help you, and it's available today or starting June 1 as long as you have Piko. We have if we'll share our roadmap. We have roadmaps within the command center as well. So we do have a phased approach of additional services on Piko Verify that are going to be really cool and unique and with the twist that we will be releasing over the next year as well. And this is a service that as we have already had many customers sign up. They're really excited about, definitely in need in the market today. Okay, so that's Piko. That's our platforms now, our tech stack with a twist. So let's just touch on, Scott, I'm going to go like 1 minute. We talked about ATM fraud. So we're happy to have more conversations on ATM fraud and dig deeper. Hook and chain is an example that we've developed using Piko for our customers. I'm going to play the video of a bad guy attempting to back up to a machine. And what happened?
Your action has initiated an emergency call to the Citrus Heights Police Department. Please vacate the premises immediately. Police have been dispatched and will be arriving soon.
He's using Piko Analytics, object detection, line crossing. We know a vehicle is accessing this ATM in a way that they should not be. We're immediately and automatically, without a person, triggering a light. And we're triggering through that loudspeaker an automated message that says, hey, you better get away. We've called the police. In fact, they named this police department in that city. It's that unique to that location. So there's so many unique solutions that we've built at CSG to help tie these things together. This is another version of transactions from remote view and tying that into Piko. So any electronic journal from the ATM, being able to log into the command center, look at your ATM, look at your transactions, and then watch your video. This is actually one of our new high definition cameras as well, our ATM camera. So really cool stuff here. Suspicious activity is what I mentioned with SAN. This is a video just recently. It was actually right before the tech summit that we saw a person attempting to install a wireless man in the middle of attack. This is a really close-up view, but again, we get an immediate notification, and now through Piko Verify, it will move 24/7 that we're monitoring. We'll get a notification if there's somebody at a machine attempting to install something or do something and not perform a valid transaction. We'll review that, and then we can help with the process of taking the machine out of service, dispatching the police, whatever the case may be. This is a video of what we're calling terminal security, a unique kind of solution and unique approach to showing you everything at your machine. So this is Piko Terminal. This is the transactions that are happening on the machine in real time. This is facial recognition cameras inside the ATM, our Piko camera, our Piko overview camera. And then even on the new 80 series ATMs, we have a cash dispensing camera, tiny little camera that we've installed for watching the actual cash and helping with that fraud there, where they're taking just the inside bills and leaving the outer bills. We're able to monitor that as well. So sorry, I went really fast on some of these solutions. One last thing that we're working through, we're really excited. We're beta testing with a customer, is digital signage. So most of our customers have digital signage on the inside and the outside of the inside of their buildings for sure. But our unique approach is integrating those together. So we have a digital signage solution for your drive-up lanes. So instead of a traditional LED sign that says open and closed at your branch, we're putting a screen on the drive-up lane, but also being able to integrate it with the real-time status of your ATM or your ITM. So your customers know if that machine is online, available, and in service, and then you can also do whatever marketing that you want. We also showed an overlay of the live video so that maybe a criminal says, hey, I'm being recorded. I'm probably going to find a different location. Sorry for the speed on this, but happy to have any in-depth conversations around any of these products and services that we've talked about today.
Our hope is, by again, showing more at the machine that is online or offline, the criminal and or the good customer / member seeing themselves also in front of the machine, again, could be a great deterrent, in addition to also just marketing and branding your institution and showing some options there is just pretty fun and exciting. So a lot there, a lot to unpack. I think we're getting a lot of good questions in through the chat. So again, happy to keep going forward with this. If you guys have more questions, please send those in. I think one of these is last 5 minutes or so to either dive a little bit deeper into something if you haven't seen it yet, or to just answer your questions. One question, Levi, that came in was just around expanding the camera set. So we have those 3 main cameras for now. Things like multi-sensor cameras, things like that. Is there any plans for expanding that into the future?
Yes, there is. We have the opportunity to do that as we're manufacturing these. We have entered into the manufacturing world, so it's there's things that we've learned. We've used these cameras and tested them for over a year now, which is why we're very, very comfortable with releasing them, and we're excited about that. There's definitely opportunity for multi-sensor cameras. We have the ability. That we've worked with one in beta with 4 sensors. We would love your feedback. So reach out to us and give us that feedback. And let's talk through it. Let's talk through your use case. This is definitely something that we can provide. But again, we love the feedback and we want that.
Yeah. The other question, Levi, was around just change its ATM status during non-business hours to, deploy technicians automatically, things like that. I think one big piece, especially for NCR ATMs, if you're on the new Activate Enterprise, just being able to show the status live in the command center is now new. So in service, out of service, type of notification is not going to be in there, so you can see it yourself without having to wait for us. But in addition, if you look at the digital signage piece that we just showed as well, displaying that to your members or your customers is going to be pretty cool now as well. They can see that before they pick a lane, just to find out the machine is out of service. You'll be able to have a display above that as well. But to your point, Levi, from the knock being 24/7, that's going to change our ability to react and respond to tickets all day, every day, versus the traditional 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. hours that we had.
Yeah, and so to that question, yes, like part of remote view, part of our core business, our core service is if you're using remote view managed services and remote view is installed on your machine and there is an issue, we get the notification immediately, and we will attempt to fix that remotely. So it automatically dispatches our technicians, our managed services technicians. We attempt to fix that. And now that we're 24/7, we will attempt to fix that 24/7. If we cannot fix that, we will dispatch a technician. The technician would go during business hours, but we would dispatch that technician, or during the agreement hours that we have. But then we would dispatch that technician. So yes, 100% part of our core business. And then all these additional bells and whistles give you more insight. This is an image of the command center with where I paused it, where it shows that transaction, but we show so much details in the status of your machine. And like Scott mentioned with AE, there's a lot more that we're able to share. So happy to dig through, and talk through that more, but 100%, yes. The presentation, yes, we are recording it, and we will make the deck available as well. Oh, I see that you said absolutely.
Yeah, one piece, again, just highly recommend it. Everyone we know is unique and different, right? So we're trying to show some high level pieces here, especially these examples that we're showing can definitely be different for you and your institution specifically. So that's why I would definitely challenge, if we've shown anything today that you feel like has an impact on your institution or has some potential solutions for some of the problems that you've been seeing, please schedule some time with us. We'd be happy to talk with you one-on-one and kind of really dig in and roll up our sleeves to figure out where they're at. Because again, these are just some high level ideas that we've already been seeing and deploying. As Levi mentioned, with AI and with the analytics, the solution piece is virtually endless as far as where we can kind of take some of these different pieces as new problems arise, or if you feel like you're vulnerable in a certain area for certain things, let's see if we can bring some ideas together to solve that, because odds are we probably can. But again, you live the day in the life, you know what problems you have, you know what keeps you awake at night. We may not always be in tune to that. So we'd open to discussing that and having that conversation, knowing the technology side on our side. Before we leave, we did want to spin the wheel and give away another prize to somebody. So before you jump off, we've got quite a few people here. We'd love to spin that wheel and see if someone's going to win another swag bag of CSG stuff. So I would say go ahead and tap, Levi, and let's see who wins this puppy.
Can a guy get a drum roll, please, Scott?
Absolutely. Incredible. Get another one. Chuck. All right. Chuck, congratulations down in Inland Valley. Congratulations. We'll have Armando hand deliver that to you. Congratulations. Yeah, again, for everyone, again, appreciate you jumping on. We just posted in the chat the link to sign up for the advisory groups. So if you'd like to log in and sign up for, again, any one of those, again, they are advisory groups, not users groups. So you do not have to be a user of the solution in order to participate in those. So again, even if you're thinking about it, but you want to kind of give ideas and be part of that discussion and that roadmap, we're happy to hear it and talk it through with you. So go ahead and click that link and sign up. We'll get this sent out. This will be posted on our website following today, so you can go back and revisit it and look at it from there. So if there aren't any more questions, we'll go ahead and end. And again, thank you everyone for joining, and appreciate all you that do business with us. We appreciate and value you. We would not be able to do any of this without you, our customers. So again, thank you very much. And we look forward to talking to you all again.